Now let's find out what's in our community. For more than 25 years, the Women's Lunch Place has been helping Boston's poorest women and their families. Joining us now is Executive Director Sharon Riley. Sharon, thank you so much for joining us today.
It is my pleasure. Thank you.
The Women's Lunch Place does so much more than just offer food. Can you explain the mission?
Absolutely. We were founded about 27 years ago, and I think the centerpiece of what the founders really wanted to create was an atmosphere where women were treated with dignity and respect. They also wanted to adjust or modify their services based on each woman's individual need, and also create a sense of community. We do guest satisfaction surveys, and what we know is that most of the women who come to the Women's Lunch Place come because of the dignity and respect and the sense of community. There's a lot of isolation and poverty and homelessness, and so people are looking for a place to connect, and they find that at the Women's Lunch Place.
Now, as you just mentioned in one of your core values, that the Women's Lunch Place really assess the problems or go by the individual women who walk through the door. Can you explain that a little bit more?
Yes, we don't have a prescribed plan for any woman who walks through the door. So it's based on individual needs. If Sharon Riley were to come through, and if her most pressing need at the time was to get in a drug rehab program, then that's what we would focus on for Sharon if she were ready to do that. We don't say that in order to come to the Women's Lunch Place you have to do A, B, C, or D. Rather, we work with each individual woman to help her get the services that she needs when she needs them.
Now, how many women would you say walk through the door every day?
Interesting question. This time last year we were seeing about 125 women. This year we're up to about 170 women. So we have about a 24% increase in the number of women that we serve and about a 20% increase in our food cost.
How much does it cost per woman who walks through the door to feed them, to clothe them, to help them get on a proper program?
That's an interesting question. What I can tell you that is next to our staffing budget or personnel budget, our meals program is our most expensive cost item, and we have about $1 million in that budget. We know that it takes about $11,000 per month to provide food for the women who come to the shelter.
And what would you say is the biggest misconception about homeless women?
I think probably the biggest misconception is that they're different from you and I. 50% of the women who come to the Women's Lunch Place are college-educated women. They're women who had very successful professional jobs. They were nurses, lawyers, doctors, executive assistants, stay-at-home moms, and something happened to cause their lives to unthread, whether it was mortgage failure, a mental illness, sexual or domestic violence. Just something happened and the person did not have a safety net. If something were to happen to one of us, we could probably pick up the phone to call a family member to quickly get things back on track. For a lot of these women, the Women's Lunch Place is their safety net. So we're the one place that they can come and not be judged because of what they've done or their current situation in life.
And I'm sure you're always looking for volunteers and donations.
We're always looking for volunteers. We have a network of probably about 400 volunteers, and that's not enough. We have a lot of opportunities for women and for men who are looking for a way to give back, to support the needs of poor and homeless women, and to also get something from the experience. We're looking for donations, in-kind donations of clothing, toiletries. We've been quite successful hosting house parties. So if there are persons who are listening who would like to host a house party, I would love to talk with you about that. We're also looking to identify persons who are associated with companies, corporations, or foundations who may also be willing to make that kind of contribution to the Women's Lunch Place as well.
Well, great. Sharon, thank you for joining us today. We've learned a lot about the Women's Lunch Place on Newbury Street, another great organization here in Boston. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure.
And there are so many ways that you can help by donating or volunteering, just like Sharon was saying. For more information, log on to thewomensLunchplace.org.